Hi, this is my homemade grease gun, chambered in 9mm, and it's completely homemade. This is going to be an in-depth review on this gun. I'm going to be doing some shooting toward the end of the video. If you came just to see me shoot it, you can go ahead and fast forward to that. But if you don't, you want to learn how this thing works and what I did to make it, go ahead and stick around and let's talk about it. This gun operates on a pure blowback system. That means the bolt weight makes the cartridge stay in the chamber long enough for the pressures to drop and it to be safe for it to be extracted and ejected out of the gun. It is a semi-automatic. It takes Glock brand Glockazines high capacity assault clips, and this one is 33 round clip. Loads in like that. As you can see, there is a magazine catch right here that has a spring. You push it out and then the mag drops out. The action on this thing is really actually pretty darn smooth. It has, which we'll get into in just a minute, a recoil spring that is actually part of the ejector rod, which you'll see when we open this thing up. It has a rail over the whole top of the gun here. I've got some sights and then a red dot on top. Like I said, all of this gun is homemade. The receiver tube is actually a piece of DOM tubing, and the barrel is a barrel that I got off eBay. I'll put a link to the seller in the description if you want to check them out. All the parts, except for the trigger housing, is homemade. And this buttstock, obviously. The barrel is rifled. A lot of people were asking if the barrel is rifled. It's rifled. It's a pistol. It has to be rifled to be legal. The stock is actually a stabilizing wrist stabilizer. So you can strap this around your wrist and like point and shoot easier, right? Not supposed to shoulder fire it, apparently. The ATF frowns upon that, but what the ATF doesn't know can't hurt them, right? Just kidding. I don't do anything illegal, right? I don't shoulder, no. The trigger assembly here, it was actually sent to me by Mark Serbu, and he's the dude that I helped design the RN50 with. He actually designed this trigger housing a lot of years ago for a dude who was actually building I think it was a kind of like a grease gun SMG type gun, and yeah, it works perfectly for this application. He actually also uses this trigger housing on a few of his 50 BMG rifles, so that's kind of cool. And it takes AR-15 trigger groups and everything, so that's really convenient also. I think that's about all we need to cover on the outside of the gun. Let's go ahead and delve into the gun and open it up and see what's inside. This charging handle here is actually just a grade 8 bolt that I cut the head off and it unscrews. So what you're gonna do to disassemble this gun is you're gonna make sure it's clear. Yeah, it's clear. Okay, let's take off these back two Allen heads, and so we can pop off the back of the receiver plate. It's actually pretty easy to disassemble and clean and everything, as you'll see. So let's talk about this part here. Let's take these so we don't lose them. This spring here is the recoil spring. This is the recoil buffer. It's actually a piece of like a toilet repair kit that I picked up at Walmart or something. This recoil spring, actually I got it from like a hardware store. It works fine for this application. It's kind of dirty, as you can see. Anyway, this rod here is actually the ejector rod. It's kind of bent, so it'll kind of like swing over whenever the bolt comes back and hit the cartridge out of the chamber. So pretty cool, pretty simple. Simplicity is always key when you're building a homemade gun, for sure. Let's go ahead and take out the rest of the guts of this gun. Go ahead and pull the bolt to the back, unscrew this little charging handle, and the bolt will drop out of the gun. Let's talk about the bolt. This right here is the bolt face. Probably the hardest part of this build was getting the bolt correct, getting the bolt face correct. I actually had to weld a washer around where the round sits because in order to center the round and make sure it goes into the chamber correctly. This extractor here actually is not something I made. When I sent him Mark, he disassembled it to parkerize and everything, and he ended up, I guess, dropping it or somewhere in his shop, and so he made me a new one. And it's pretty similar to the one I had. Obviously, it's actually made correctly with machines and stuff, but looks pretty nice. You might barely be able to see inside here. There's the firing pin head right there, and it's spring loaded inside the bolt. And here's it coming out of the end there, as you can see. Kind of neat. The firing pin is actually from one of Mark Sturbu's 50 BMGs. He had a whole bunch of firing pins made apparently, and they didn't work for something was wrong with them or something, and so he ended up sending me a couple of the bad ones, and I actually was able to make it work in this. So I was having a really hard time. I was trying to make firing pins out of like drill bits and stuff, and when you weld a drill bit, it like weakens it and stuff, and they just kept breaking and stuff. So I had a lot of problems with firing pins, but I think this one is actually working perfectly now. I went ahead and inserted the ejector rod, and you can see it kind of, that's where it pokes out to eject the shell. So that's kind of neat. And it just goes in the back of this bolt, like so. Kind of cool. Here's a view of the inside of the gun. You can kind of see all the parts inside there. Kind of neat. Kind of could see down the barrel a little bit. It is rifled and stuff. I kind of messed up the chamber also by welding the barrel in, but Mark went ahead and ran a reamer down the chamber and straightened it up. Now it's perfect. I really can't think of anything else I need to mention talking about how this thing works or anything, but I just have to say it was a lot of work, and I've gotten a lot of emails saying, you know, can you send me plans to build this? I did not use any real plans on this thing. I just kind of cut things to length and just threw it together. I didn't even really use a tape measure at all. I don't even think I have a tape measure in my garage. Anyway, this thing is kind of just thrown together, no real plans or measurements or anything, so it'd be really difficult for me to, you know, replicate this thing. You know, I'd have to go off the measurements that are on this gun. I'm probably going to make a 45 caliber one of these in the near future sometime, hopefully, if I have time. But if you guys have any more questions about, you know, what I did to build this, just ask and I'll get right back to you. This thing took probably about a month and a half of, you know, on and off working to build. So it was a pretty intensive build, but it's by far the coolest gun I've ever built. All right, let's go ahead and put this thing all back together, and we'll go ahead and take some shots with it. Oh, and by the way, I will be at SHOT Show this year with Sturbu Firearms, and I will be bringing this. I'm probably going to ship it down, and he's going to ship it out with their crate of guns. And so yeah, if you want to see it, it'll be at SHOT Show. Got our 33 round Clip-A-Zine loaded up. Let's go ahead and take out some of those sodas and that pumpkin. I really don't know where this thing's shooting right now, so I'm gonna go set up the target skin and we'll take some more shots. Alright, from what I can tell, it's shooting low and right. I haven't sighted this thing in yet. I think the battery's about dead on this red dot, so a little difficult. Dang it. Okay, I think it's just shooting low. I think I was wrong about that. No, I am not shoulder firing this. It is hovering like half an inch over my shoulder, just so you know. There we go. Oh, that was the last round. Only load up 15. Let's load up another 10, see what we can do. 10 rounds out of the RN9. Booyah. Alright, let's try to pick off that pumpkin. Well, I'm hitting him, but not really doing too much. Let's go ahead and ring some those shoot steel targets. Ah! Need more ammo! Okay, we've got 7 more rounds loaded up for 7 more targets. Let's do this. Awesome! Well, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. This is such a fun gun to shoot. It's just the coolest gun I've ever made for sure. But like I said, I'll be at SHOT Show. This gun will be there. Don't forget to stop by if you're gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope I answered all y'all's questions. If I didn't, like I said, shoot me an email or something and let me know what I missed. But until then, I'll see you next time.